Hi, I'm Kari, your intuitive counselor and happiness coach with your June forecast. And this is a pivotal month. Now, it's funny because the skies are really not that active this month, and yet it's because next month is going to be really action-packed that this month is so significant and so important. Next month is eclipse season and Mercury's retrograde. So I don't want you to panic about that because this month is all about preparing for that. Because when we have eclipses, it's a real culmination. It's endings and beginnings, fateful events, destiny. That's what eclipses are about. And that's a Mercury retrograde month. So that's next month. So what's happening this month is preparing you mentally, spiritually, and emotionally for these incredible changes that are going to be transpiring. Now, as you know, and as I've said many times before, the more conscious you are about changes, the more joyful, the more prosperous and harmonious they are for you. And if you avoid the changes that the universe is coercing you to do, that's when you get conflict and chaos kind of things. So I've said this at the beginning of the year that 2019 is a year of renewal. This is a year where you're completely transforming your identity, where you're really moving into more of what your soul's calling is, more of who you really are born to be and what you're meant to be. And this is the month where you're making those choices to become that person, or at least you're meant to make those choices. Now, you have free will, right? And one of the reasons I do these videos for you is so that you can make the best choices, because you're going to be feeling these urges inside of you, and it's scary, right? Sometimes to make choices that lead you into a whole new identity, a whole new way of being. So I want to encourage you that this is what you're meant to do. And so please do this consciously and actively. So I'm going to tell you a little bit or a lot about the energy that's transpiring this month so you understand why this is happening. So first of all, there's a lot of mental stimulation. There's a lot of downloads that you can be receiving because Mercury's very active all month. We begin the first 3 quarters of the month. The sun is in Gemini, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury's the planet of the mind and consciousness. Now, Gemini is a very social sign. It's mutable air, right? And air is the mind and it's communication. So when we're in Gemini, we have an influx of new activity and socializing and really, like, your mind is kind of like a honeybee energy, like a little bit of everything, right? Because you're meant to be exploring new things and connecting with people and really expanding your mind and your consciousness in that way. And it's fun. It's a really fun energy. Now, Gemini's ruling planet is also Mercury, and Mercury is going to be in Gemini as well. So we have a lot of that Mercury exponential kind of energy. So this new moon that's happening on the 3rd, the new moon in Gemini, has the Mercury influence as well. So it's a really wonderful time right at the top of the month to set your intentions about these new ways of being that you want to create for yourself, and the new identities and the new experiences that you want to have. Gemini is very much about experience, and so it's really fun, especially because there's so much activity involving other people as well, a lot of communication. So you don't want to spend too much time by yourself. However, our numerology for June 2019 is a 9 universal month. Now, 9 is the number of the hermit. So there is some time that you do want to spend by yourself to process a lot of these downloads and influxes of ideas that you're getting. So the hermit is not necessarily an antisocial person. Right? The hermit, the meaning and message of the hermit is all about tuning into yourself, tuning into your inner voice, tuning into what's right for you, and actually being a light for others. So if you have the desire to teach or share your information in any way, this is an amazing month to do that. There's communication energy really all about this month. So not a time to keep your voice or your words or your actions to yourself, but you do want that time to tune into yourself. Now, the other energies that this 9 monthly universal energy brings, is that the 9 energy teaches you to be yourself, to individuate. 9 is the last of the single digit numbers, so it's an ending of a cycle. And it's also about, when you get to this 9 energy, 9 is also associated with the old soul. And it teaches you to individuate. And by that I mean, our personalities, our human selves, loves the whole group energy, which is a lot of what this Gemini is bringing. It loves to be part of something bigger. And yet the 9 teaches you to be different, to stand out from the group, because it's only from being different and finding your own unique voice and finding your own unique way, that's when you can be a light onto the world and contribute in a way that's meaningful, especially for you. So there's this dynamic going on this month about being part of a group, yet being separate from a group, being your own being. Now, one of the higher lessons of Gemini that it brings is about choices. Because the mind, right, it's all about choices. And so you have a lot of choices to make this month. You can choose to do things the way you've been doing them. You can choose to be the person that you've been, whether that works for you or not, and do what other people tell you is right for you, or what you found other people expect from you. Or, and this is what the universe is encouraging you to do, find new ways of being. Step it up a bit. So there's this element of higher consciousness as well, because we have an extraordinary full moon on June 17th. It is truly exceptional. There's a lot to it, and I don't want to overwhelm you. It's a big moon, right? So it's a Sagittarius full moon. And Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which is the sign of expansion. And it's a visionary sign. It's about, it's the archer that's always looking toward the future. So you're going to have the sun in Gemini and the moon in Sagittarius. And there's that opposition, but they're both about communication. So whereas Gemini is about your mind and your consciousness, Sagittarius is about your higher mind and your higher consciousness. That's why it's so much associated with travel, because once you travel and experience new ways of looking at the world, you also realize that we're all one as well. And you find new ways of being, and it helps you move toward your future in a way that is exceptional. And Sagittarius is also optimistic, and we need that right now. We need that joy. There's something else that's quite extraordinary about this full moon. The nodes of the moon, and this is what dictates our eclipses as well. The nodes of the moon, the north node of the moon is associated with your dharma, your destiny that you're moving towards. And the south node of the moon is associated with your karma, things that you're moving away from. So the south nodes of the moon, these eclipse seasons, are Capricorn and Saturn and Pluto, which are karmic planets as well, are very much tied to the south node. Here's the thing. The north node of the moon, Mercury and Mars, are both going to be exactly conjunct the north node of the moon. So Mars is how you embody energy. Mars is your passion moving you forward. And the north node is very much about your future. So with Sagittarius, it's about where you're headed to. So the choices that you need to make this month are very much about moving you out of these patterns, moving you out of what you've always known to be, into what you want to become and who you want to be. And you need to be very deliberate about it, because the choices you make now are really you're going to see some of this energy come to fruition as soon as next month during those eclipses. It's an extraordinary time. You want to make the most of it. So I do have 3 action steps for you to make the most of this rather extraordinary energy. So the first step for you to do is for you to know who and what you want to become. So you want to take stock of that. You want to be really deliberate about not being in this routine of what your life has always been, but truly understanding and knowing what it is inside your soul, what is it is inside your consciousness that's waiting to be born and embodied. So use that hermit energy, that internal energy, to take stock. It's helpful if you want to write things down about every area of your life. What is it that I really want? What is the energy that I want to embody? What do I want to experience in career, home, friends, your physical body, your health? Get very clear about that. Extraordinarily clear about that. Which brings us to step 2. So in step 2, you want to be very honest with yourself about where you are now and how you might be keeping yourself in some of your old patterns. So again, take stock. Are the people that you're associating with a reflection of who you want to become? Or is your home a reflection of what nourishes you and brings you joy? Is what you wear, or the way you present yourself, or the way you hold yourself, all of those things, is it a true reflection of who and what you want to become, your career, how much you charge, what you're doing, all of that? Be very honest and take stock with what you'd like to move away from and where you might be settling in some ways and where you want to move on. Which brings us to step number 3, which is about embodying your new way of being. So maybe that means, so embodying is all about really bringing this energy from spirit, from the idea realm, into the physical world. And you can take small steps. Maybe it's just about bringing new colors into your life. Maybe there's some colors that you're drawn to that will awaken something in you. Maybe it's about spending less time with some people and finding new people that represent your values and doing the kinds of things that you want to be doing more of. Maybe you want to take a class in something so that you're learning something new and having that experience. Maybe you are coming out of the spiritual closet, and so you want to connect with more people, more like-minded and like-hearted souls. So when you are actually taking these physical steps, and they don't need to be dramatic. It's not a drastic lifestyle change. You don't need to do that right now, but you do want to make physical changes. You do want to step more into your new identity in ways that represent who you are becoming rather than who you've been. You've been wonderful. It's just time for new experiences. So I know that if you take these steps, that your life is going to change a lot. And then just you wait, it's going to get more and more exciting. So I hope you're very deliberate about having these wonderful new experiences. So much joy awaits you. So I hope that you have an incredible month. And if you've enjoyed this video, share it with your friends. I'm sure they will appreciate you for it, and give it a like and subscribe to this channel because I have so much more to share with you. So I'm wishing you an extraordinary, joyful, jovial June and beyond. Lots of love. Bye for now.